The following contains descriptions of physical violence, sexual violence, and graphic descriptions of autopsies.
Hey listeners, welcome to episode 89 of TGIC podcast. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Izzy.
And today we are going to be covering a very mysterious case, and we're also trying out a new format. I don't know if you can see.
Yes, we're doing recording Zoom
Yes.
via
We've
Zoom.
never I don't know if we've done online video before, so we're giving this a shot, see how it
Mm-mm.
goes. If you guys like it, let us know. If not, you can still listen to the audio, I'm pretty sure, just as normally. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah. Um, Sorry we didn't release an episode in November, but we are going to be
Yes, we've
back
been
on
busy.
track. Yeah, but we're going to be back on track,
Yeah.
so it's okay. Yeah, so we're super excited to get this episode out, and we are so thankful for all of our listeners' support. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So, today we're going to be covering the case of the Isdale woman in Norway. So, let's get started with a timeline.
So, March through October of 1970, a noteworthy woman begins traveling widely across Norway and other parts of Europe under at least 8 different pseudonyms. She was seen in Oslo, Trondheim, Stavanger, Bergen, and potentially Germany and Belgium. Also, bear with us, guys, on pronunciation for this episode. Again, we are not great at that, but we are trying our hardest.
Izzy better
At
try
every
a little bit
hotel.
harder than me because she's about to need to speak.
Well, okay, yes, I am about to study in Copenhagen where they have interesting pronunciation. So, yes, I need to
You should be able to
work
say
on that
all
a
of
little bit.
those European cities you just said.
Anyways, okay. So, this woman, at every hotel, she pays in cash, avoids housekeeping like the plague, and has just like this mysterious aura that shrouds her. But she's always dressed to impress and
People
stylish.
describe me like that. Well, she just has this
This
mysterious
mysterious
aura.
aura. Do you also often smell like garlic?
Ew.
That's also how they describe
I
her.
hope not.
Jillian doesn't, just so everybody knows.
Thanks.
Anyways,
Appreciate it.
she's always like dressed really stylish and like wears expensive clothing, and she's sometimes seen with men. But yeah, she kind of just like stuck out like a sore thumb in Norway because obviously like just this interesting woman, and we'll get into like what she looked like in a little bit, but you'll see why. So November 18th of 1970, the woman checks into the hotel Hordeheimen in Bergen using the name Elizabeth Lienhauer. And immediately, her appearance and the way that she's just acting caught the staff's attention. And they were like, oh, let's remember this woman. And then on the 23rd of November, she checked out of the hotel, and some young man claimed that he saw her being followed by 2 men in black jackets. Don't know how valid that claim is, but just a notable thing. Um, and she's completely unaccounted for until November 29th.
Okay, so November 29th of 1970, that morning, a father and his two daughters are out hiking in Ulriken, Norway. They were hiking in this area called Isdalen, which means the Ice Valley. The area has also been referred to as Death Valley because there had been a lot of hiking accidents there, and in the Middle Ages, a lot of people died by suicide there. So while they were hiking, they discovered a charred body in the collection of all these like broken rock fragments. So they immediately call the police and an investigation starts pretty quickly. The police initially noticed that the woman was lying flat on her back with her hands clenched by her torso. The front of her body and her clothes were completely burned, and her face was burned to the point that it was unrecognizable. There was also evidence of an old campfire nearby. So the woman was also found with several items around her, most of which were affected by the fire as well. Nearby, there was an empty bottle of St. Halvard liquor, two plastic water bottles, a plastic passport holder, rubber boots, a sweater, a scarf, nylon stockings, an umbrella, a purse, a matchbox, a watch, two earrings, and a ring. There was also a fur hat that was found nearby, and it had traces of petrol. That's such a weird word.
Like
Petrol?
gas?
Like gas, yeah. I don't know why I didn't just say gas. I was trying to
Yeah,
be all
like
fancy, but
petrol.
like petrol. Is that how you say it
Okay,
though?
European. Petrol. That's how they say it in like Europe. Like, oh, we got to go to the petrol station. Like the gas
To,
station.
ah,
I think you just say
petrol.
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 Petrol. Got to go to the petrol station. Anyways.
Anyway, um, there was also burned paper at the scene, and her jewelry is placed on top of her corpse. The weirdest thing about all of these items is that any identifying labels had been removed or rubbed off, which is like that's a lot of
Interesting.
items that I listed, and so that's a lot of like things
Mm-hmm.
that they had to remove the
Covering up.
label from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, December 2nd of 1970, police find two suitcases that belonged to the woman abandoned at Bergen railway station. In the bags, there was the equivalent of 137 US dollars in the currency of West Germany and 100 Norwegian kroner, which is the currency of Norway, along with coins from several other European countries. The bags also contained clothing, wigs, makeup, eczema cream, maps, timetables, non prescription glasses, sunglasses with fingerprints that matched the woman, cosmetics, and a notepad. All of these items also lacked any sort of identifying information on them.
The most interesting thing in that collection is the eczema cream.
Well, I just think it's funny because I'm like reading off this list and it's like low key exposing her for no reason. It's like there was this, and this, and oh yeah, she had eczema. Like,
Yeah, like, okay. Like,
kind of just a
Lord.
random call out, but
Yeah.
um, so, after gaining more information about the woman, the police went to the media to see if the public could identify her. The last time that she was seen alive was November 23rd after she checked out of a hotel. The hotel staff shared that she was about 5'4" with dark brown hair and brown eyes. They said that she had kept mostly to herself while staying there and seemed kind of on guard. When she checked out, she paid in cash and asked for a taxi. After this, her movements are unknown. The taxi driver and others who may have seen her have not come forward. So the police began looking at the notepad and realized that they contained the dates of the woman's travels around Europe. So they began cross-checking these lists with like different check-in forms at hotels and discovered that she'd been traveling like all over the continent using at least 8 different passports. That's some commitment.
That is a whoa. That is some commitment.
I
Also,
think it's kind
like
of
going back to like
no, you speak.
the look thing. Um, no, you speak. This is so hard online. I
I
still
know.
like can't get used to it. But anyways, going back to like how she looked, like the fact that she was like short, brown hair, brown eyes is so different than like typical like Scandinavian people who are like tall, blonde, blue-eyed. So that's also
Mhm.
why she like stuck out. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um but I think it's so interesting like she's traveling around with these 8 different identities and like making sure she's only paying in cash, like removing identifying marks from things, and then yet like she has this notebook keeping track of everywhere she's been to the point where like they were able to track down her movements.
But wasn't it in code?
Oh, that's a good point though. Yeah, it was in code.
Like that was the whole thing that like points to so many different like weird like things in this case because all of her notes were coded. And they ended
Yeah.
up like discovering what the codes were later, but it was just her travel plans. But that's even weirder because it's like, okay, why is she coding all of her travel plans?
She really didn't want to be
You
found.
know? No.
Um So they start connecting this and like tracing her travels, and the only consistent information that they were able to find across these 8 different passports was that her nationality was listed as Belgian in all of them, and all of the forms that she completed had been done in French or German. Others came forward claiming to have seen the woman prior to her death. People said that she had stayed in a lot of hotels, like we said before, and she often asked to change rooms after she checked in. She also told people that she was a traveling salesperson and antiques dealer. She had once been seen talking to a German man at a hotel in Bergen. Other people said they saw her and she spoke some Flemish and English. And it was also noted that she wore wigs and smelled like garlic.
It's crazy that like, oh yeah, this woman reeked so bad of garlic that like
Like
that is something notable that I remember about her.
the poor woman must have smelled because they made note of
Stank.
it. Like it must have been
And it's
like
also
really
like she's
bad.
wearing, yeah, and she's wearing all these expensive like clothing and
Mhm.
like accessories. Like you think that she would like, I don't know,
Well, it's also she's
call me
checking into all these
crazy.
hotels, so it's not like we all know she has access to a shower.
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe she was just
Interesting.
eating like a lot
Maybe
of
she
like
just eats a lot of
garlic.
garlic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Despite combined police and media efforts, the woman was never identified and the case ends up being closed. Authorities ruled it a suicide even though some evidence suggests murder. Especially like we talked about like all the coding and all the like hidden attempts to hide her identity, like that seems awfully suspicious not to be searched further, you know?
Hmm.
So
Exactly.
February 5th of 1971, the Isdell woman was given a Catholic burial in a city or in a cemetery in Bergen. She was buried in a zinc coffin to preserve her remains in case more evidence was needed in the future.
All right. So let's get into the autopsy a little bit. So the autopsy concluded that the Isdal woman died due to a combination of incapacitation by phenobarbital and carbon monoxide poisoning. The contents of her stomach showed that she had consumed 50 to 70 sleeping pills before she died. There were also 12 pills found beside her. So the phenobarbital are these sleeping pills. But 50 to 70 pills, that's like a
That's a lot.
handful.
Yeah.
That's
That's
a
more than a handful.
lot. That's like
Yeah.
two hands full.
Yeah.
Um, there was soot in her lungs, which indicates that she was burned alive. She also had bruises on her neck, and her teeth and jaw were removed because she had really unique dental work, and the police wanted to investigate the teeth and tissue samples of her organs that were taken. Um, the in 2017, her jaw and teeth were tested, and these tests suggested that she had been born in roughly 1930 or around Nuremberg, Germany, but she moved to France or somewhere on the France-Germany border as a child. Her dental work was likely conducted in East Asia, Central Europe, Southern Europe, or South America. Based on the prior information, it was likely done in Central Europe. And
That's
this
crazy. That's such
information
a widespread of
reinforced the tests done
information.
previously.
Like imagine
I know,
like
just from her teeth. Like, it's
I know. But also like
crazy.
imagine like because we're just like assuming obviously like her dental work was probably done like based on the other records, but like imagine it was just randomly done in like South America. Like that'd like be such a whole other like loop to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, she traveled so much that it's completely possible, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and like all the tests done on her writing suggested that she was educated in France or somewhere nearby. And like her dental work being really expensive, her expensive clothing, the fact that she was like trilingual and like that she was writing in like full code that she had manufactured supposedly like
Yeah.
indicates that like she is educated and like came from a position of money or she has like a steady stream of money now.
Yeah.
It's just interesting that like
But she's also
nobody
she's
knows who
paying for
she
all these
is.
hotels
You
in
know what I mean?
cash. Yeah. So like she definitely has some sort of
Yeah,
steady stream of like income or money like backlogged at least, you know?
exactly. And I think it's also notable that like she was fully alive when she was being burned to
Yeah.
death.
Which I feel like
Um,
completely
and
suggests
like,
against well, I mean, I guess not completely suggests
yeah,
against suicide, but like,
but pretty suggests against suicide.
yeah,
And also, she was found like in the middle of the woods.
yeah,
Like, you're telling me that she took 50 sleeping pills and then like wandered into the middle of the woods and burned herself alive.
yeah,
Like, that's bizarre.
yeah.
Um, anyways, We should get into some theories.
I agree. So the first theory is that she was a spy. So the crime took
Ooh.
place during the Cold War, which immediately made people suspicious that the Isdale woman was in fact like a spy. At the time, Norway was very strategically important due to their proximity to the Soviet Union. They had NATO membership and they also were testing military weapons. For example, they were testing this like new Penguin anti-ship missile thing. Um, the Isdale woman utilized multiple identities throughout her time in the country, and she moved around to different hotels frequently, only using cash for her bookings. She could also speak multiple languages fluently. She carried wigs, used coded notes, removed labels and other identifying marks from belongings and clothes, and generally avoided social contact. So, definitely, she was trying to stay hidden. And then, if you consider
Hmm.
how influential Norway was in the Cold War, so throughout her time in Norway, she was always stayed kind of near Bergen and Stavanger, which were the locations of military and NATO facilities. Um, some witness accounts claim that she had been seen with various men who could have been like uh, her like spy boss.
Like handler.
Yes.
Yes, her
Um,
spy boss, a
her spy
handler.
boss. Um, there could have been many reasons associated with this theory that could have led to her death. She could have committed suicide while she was stressed due to her job. She could have been killed by her own agency if she was had done something wrong or if she like knew found out information she shouldn't have, or she could have been killed by an enemy who was watching her and trying to prevent her from spreading information or continue her spy work. A lot of this
Mm.
evidence is circumstantial, and she had no confirmed link to any intelligence services. Um, she was also like pretty recognizable. She had this like distinct look and like the garlic smell, and she moved around using pretty specific names and always asked for like certain amenities. Like she always wanted like it was like she always wanted a mirror in her room, right?
Hmm. A floor-length
Um
mirror, she always requested it.
yeah. So like that is kind of suspicious. Like if you're a spy, like maybe you wouldn't do some like I don't know, maybe you would smell more normal and like maybe you wouldn't like specifically request like mirror every time you went to a hotel. Also spies
Yeah.
typically only have like one or two identities, and like have like pretty like controlled like specific backstory so they don't mess it up. But she was using like
Hmm.
7 8 different identities like throughout her whole time. So it is like a little bit inconsistent, but also like I don't know. It does make you like think.
I think
Also
it's
the fact that
interesting.
yeah, like the two main cities she stayed near were both like military testing locations, like
Hmm.
interesting.
Is really fascinating. And like another thing that I actually just thought about when we were talking about like the sleeping pills
Mhm.
is that like a spy would you would think that they would have like one like lethal dosage of like a poison or something that they could take if they were
Yeah.
being like held at gunpoint or like trying to get like information taken out of them as like a last resort. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless like someone was like purposefully trying to stage her like murder to look like kind of a clueless suicide or like somewhat
Yeah.
like a weird, you know what I mean? It's just like interesting to me in a lot of ways.
Like clearly that would have been a lethal amount of sleeping pills to take, but then like that's not how she died. She died from burning alive. So like
Yeah,
it almost like it just doesn't like make sense. You know what I mean? Like
complete
why would she
sense.
cover up her own suicide by like setting
Death.
herself on fire? Like it doesn't really line up.
Yeah, and also like her jewelry being like set on top of her feels
Yeah.
so staged in a weird way.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, there are just so many things about that that are like interesting to me. Um, Anyways, the next theory is that she was a sex worker. So she had a very stylish appearance, and her use of many alibis kind of points to this. Um, she always stayed in hotels, and witnesses kind of said that she was with different men sometimes. All of her fashion items were expensive, and she was staying at nice hotels and paying in cash, pointing to the fact that she had like a fluid and high income. And also like she didn't want to be traceable if she was paying all in cash and like whatever. Um, And, I was thinking about this and I was like, her requesting a floor-length mirror at every hotel, if she was a sex worker, could be like a specific, sorry, I'm not meaning to get like really freaky right now, but like
Like a
I know that
specific
that is,
yes thing.
do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? A specific thing that could be indicative of like a sex worker having like a
Yeah.
signature thing.
Yeah.
And also the fact that she was like had wigs and she was so identifiable by like her looks could be like kind of point to this, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but there was no evidence of like her being in like nefarious activities in these hotels. Her coded notes and bilingual abilities are like out of character for like sex workers during this time. Like it seems like she's very highly educated and has like a high income. Not saying that you can't be highly educated and choose to go into sex work, but just saying that like that's not typical.
Could have been like on
Um,
the run or
like
something and like that was like the job that she went into.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like she like was like
true.
grew up in a really like wealthy family, but then like something happened and she was running away from her family and like
Deviated.
sex work was a good way for her to like stay hidden and make
Yeah,
money.
exactly. Um, like overall, like this theory kind of emerged during like a very sexist time where like people were just like, oh, she's a woman, she has multiple identities. We don't like she died in this mysterious way. She was probably like a sex worker because we don't know like anything else about her. Um, and like still this doesn't really make sense why she would have died in the way she did if she was a sex worker anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
Like I
unless
feel like
she
that doesn't
like
really prove or disprove anything.
yeah, like it could have just been like she
Um,
encountered someone that was evil.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, like, why would they lead her out into a trail and like leave her luggage like at a train station? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's just like that doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Um, and like, oh my God, I remember I was doing research. I was listening to an episode by Heart Starts Pounding about this case, and she was talking about how allegedly, like, when they were doing a lot of investigation on this case at first, they were like, "Oh, she must have, like, lit herself on fire by, like, putting hairspray in her hair while either smoking a cigarette or, like, sitting next to a fire. Because she was, like, putting hairspray in her hair, but they didn't find any hairspray anywhere,
Yeah.
and it was just, like it was a v like, that just kinda pointed to the fact that this was, like, such a sexist,
Yeah,
like,
for
time in our
sure.
history, and, like, this case was kind of approached by men, and they were like, "Oh, she was, like, so mysterious and, like, whatever, she must
Well,
have
I
been a
almost
sex
feel like
worker."
that's why like the spy theory wasn't looked into more. Like
Mhm.
I feel like there's a lot of plausible leads on it being like related to like some sort of like secret intelligence or something, but like maybe because she was a woman, they didn't pay like as much attention.
Yeah. And also they probably just discredited the fact that, like, she was really intelligent and, like, thoughtful with a lot of the things she was doing. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah. And also, like, her fingerprints were, like, intentionally burned off or not burned off, were they, like, mutilated?
Yeah.
Did you, like, see stuff about that?
Uh-huh.
Um, which is, like, even more so, like, okay, like, someone was trying to cover up her identity and, like, who she was, you know? And I feel like that wouldn't necessarily be, like make sense for someone
Or
who's a
she
sex
was
worker.
really trying to cover up who she was.
Yeah, that's totally
This
possible.
almost it kind of just seems like
Um,
she was on the run and then like whoever she was running from
mhm,
might have caught up to her.
yeah. So now the last theory is suicide, which is like the official, quote unquote, like official ruling for this case as of now. Um, honestly, like I think it's unlikely, but I think it's always possible. Like her fingerprints being mutilated and the fact that she was like burned alive kind of is just, like, seems very extreme for a suicide unless she was really trying to make sure that nobody knew who she was or, like, people didn't know that she died, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, her having, like, multiple aliases and having, like, disguises is also interesting because it's like, why would you go through all that trouble if you were just planning to, like, like, kill yourself
Mhm.
or commit suicide? Um, and like her use of codes for her travel notes is like just kind of like like I don't know. I think it's all very interesting because now that you said that thing about like, what if she was like on the run and then someone caught
Mhm.
up to her? Like she was trying to run from a specific person? That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know why it took me this long to, like,
Like,
process that, um,
I
but I
never
feel like
really
that
thought about that. Like,
yeah. When I was thinking about all the hidden identity stuff, I was, like, more like, "Oh, she must be" like, I was like, "A spy, that's reasonable," like, or, like, I don't know, like, "Sex work, that's reasonable," like, I don't know, like, it almost just seems like she was, like clearly she went
just
to a
running
lot of
from someone
effort
or
to, like
something.
yeah, she went through a lot of effort to make sure she couldn't be identified and couldn't be found, and then something terrible
Mhm.
happens to her.
Yeah.
Like,
And
that
I
has to be
think that, like,
connected.
I feel like the spy theory and the sex worker theory, like, have certain valid points, but also, like, don't really work. Like, because she had so many, like, aliases, but none of them, like, had backstories or very, like, Loctite, other than the
Mhm.
fact that she just had, like, passports for them. And, like, the sex worker theory, like, nobody ever, like, witnessed her being, like, sus in
Yeah.
any of these hotels. You know what I mean? So it's just, like, it's all really puzzling to me now.
Yeah.
Like, the more that I think about it, the more confused that I get, and I feel like the more information that I hear is just, like, confusing,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, this was a very mysterious case, the murder of the
Mhm.
Isdale woman. Thank you for listening, and make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at tgic.podcast. Bye.
Bye.